Most people think deflation is a welcome phenomenon, as it means lower consumer prices. But for experienced economists, it is the most feared economic indicator because it signals an economic downturn which leads to a recession or depression. Earlier this month, a few reports caused shivers throughout China's economic community, fearing stagnation and holding back of investments. The threat of deflation arose in China when the consumer price inflation rate plunged to 0.0% in June, after starting the year with a 2.1 rate. Deflationary pressure in Thailand is worse than that of China, while Chinese authorities panicked about a 2% fall in consumer price and issued various measures to maintain demand. Thai authorities, on the other hand, seem unconcerned about a 5% drop in prices. Our inflation rate was 5.02 in January before nosediving to 0.23 in June. On the contrary, we are even happy about the situation, as super low inflation means better economic management. However, consumers and economists forget one little thing. The only reason price dropped sharply is our demand also dropped sharply too. By the way, June's consumer price inflation rate is the lowest in 22 months at 0.23%, which means it is as low as the inflation at the onset of the first big COVID-19 wave in 2021, when the Thai economy contracted by 2.5% in the first quarter of 2021. This could indicate that current demand is as bad as during the COVID period, surely not a pleasant reminder. One could argue that consumer price dropped rapidly because of external factors, such as lower world oil prices and declining of food prices. Weakening domestic demands play a minor role as well. However, another type of inflation indicator called core inflation takes out the effect of swinging energy and food prices. For Thailand, core inflation rates also sharply declined from 3.04% in January to 1.32% in June, undeniably reflecting weakening domestic demand. In China, core inflation merely plunged 0.6% in the first half of 2023. To make things easier, inflation is when prices rise, which is a sign of an expanding economy. An inflation rate of 2% to 5% is desirable. Conversely, deflation is associated with a contracting economy. Economists try to avoid inflation at all costs. The last time the world saw a sharp drop in price levels, about a 25% decline in consumer price inflation rate, was during the Great Depression of the 1930s. It's needless to explain further the dreadfulness of deflation. The question is, why has inflation dropped so fast in Thailand? The answer could not be simpler. Consumers are too broke to consume. Normally, consumers borrow money to consume. Consumption behavior is 100% affected by the change in household debt. In 2022, household debt increased by 139 billion baht per quarter. The increased borrowing is only 88 billion baht in the first quarter of this year. The household debt hit 90.6% of GDP in the first quarter of 2023. Bad debt also quickly rising, particularly in the auto loan sector. And this will surprise you. Banks are running low on cash. Yeah, that's right. The monetary system showed 715.6 billion baht of negative excess liquidity in May 2023. Banks must wait for repayments from existing customers before having cash to make out new loans. In conclusion, the deflation threat is real in Thailand, as inflation is dropping unnaturally fast. It should not be recognized as a welcome economic development because it indicates severe weakness of domestic demand and could easily lead to economic recession. If deflation is a thing to appreciate, Chinese authorities would not have pumped an enormous amount of money into its economy with 12% money supply growth, lower lending reserve requirements, relaxed borrowing rules, giving direct loans to help ailing real estate companies, and even cutting lending rates. But people are still not consuming, and inflation still keeps dropping, because once an economic plunge into deflation mode, it would take almost an act of God to pull it out. Optimists now see that low inflation is good, as much higher energy prices from supply inadequacy and higher agricultural prices from severe weather are waiting. Therefore, there is no need to fix deflation and demand weakness. Bangkok Post could not agree more with the expected high global inflation. But then, Thailand would have stagflation, which is the worst of both worlds, high inflation with stagnant demand. Bangkok Post encourages you to go to the link in the description of this video for the full story. Thank you, and see you again next time. สวัสดีครับ